This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Tonight, affordability push. Nova Scotia leaders try to make the cost of living a central theme in the election race.
Deposit dispute. A Nova Scotia landlord is under fire over illegal fees.
And why so many Halifax commuters were late for work this morning.
A warm front moving in tonight will bump our temperatures overnight. And yes, a very warm Halloween shaping up for the trick-or-treaters on Thursday. Your full details are coming up.
Good evening. A few days into a provincial election campaign, affordability is coming into focus as a top issue.
And each of the major parties is trying to prove they alone can offer solutions. Taryn Grant has our top story tonight.
Week one on the campaign trail. The PC, Liberal, and NDP leaders are all weaving affordability into their narratives. The high cost of living and scarcity of housing are affecting many Nova Scotians, including Tammy Brunet. She's settling into a new apartment because last month she had to move. When her fixed-term lease ended, her landlord chose not to renew.
No matter what, I always made sure my rent was paid. I never delayed on it. I was always quiet. I was always respectful of other tenants and my landlord.
Her new place is smaller and the rent is hundreds of dollars more. Brunet's budget is tighter than ever.
That was our home. And to know that you could be just kicked out without reason, where's the security and safety in that? It's been very, very hard and very stressful.
Sam McPhee knows that stress. With two young daughters, she spent years struggling to keep them housed. They were living in a hotel when she finally got a spot in public housing.
It was such a relief. It just felt like the weight of the world was off my shoulders.
Her rent is now hundreds of dollars below market rates, and yet she still struggles with the cost of everything else.
Power is a huge expense, of course, and then groceries, which are absolutely out of this world right now.
The Progressive Conservative leader says affordability is one of the main reasons he called a snap election.
People are under obvious financial pressure. We can see that, and it will take a long-term vision and major policy investments to support them.
The Liberal leader says 3 years of a Houston government is to blame.
More and more people are struggling to put food on the table. Young families can't afford to buy a home or pay rent, and seniors can't afford to downsize.
The NDP have been champions of affordability for years. Now they have to compete with the other parties on the issue.
Our vision is a Nova Scotia where you can afford your life.
Each of the major parties is hoping their message on affordability will get people to the polls. Tammy Brunet says so far, none of them have convinced her they really understand the issue. If they don't convince her by Election Day, she says she won't vote at all. Taryn Grant, CBC News, Halifax.
Two of the major party leaders made healthcare-related announcements on day 4 of the campaign. Michael Gorman has the details.
On day 4 of the election campaign, the Liberals and PCs each released information about their healthcare platforms. Both parties focused on underserved communities. Liberal leader Zach Churchill was outside Soldiers Memorial Hospital in Middleton to make the point that the province needs more primary care services. Churchill says a Liberal government would create 20 new collaborative care centres, increase services at existing sites, and boost pay incentives for healthcare workers to take those jobs. Churchill says the Liberals would partner with municipalities using a similar model to the centre in Clare.
They are having such a success at attaching patients to their clinic and monitoring them that they are now taking on patients outside of Clare, in Yarmouth and in Digby. Imagine if we can replicate that success in every region of our province, in Halifax and also in rural Nova Scotia. We can get people family doctors again if we use this model.
The Liberals say they'll split the capital costs with municipalities. The total cost would be about $15 million a year. Meanwhile, PC leader Tim Houston says a re-elected Tory government would create a menopause centre of excellence. The site would include staff such as a physiotherapist, psychologist, dietitian, and obstetrician-gynecologist.
This clinic will reduce wait times for women seeking care, while reducing the pressure on the IWK at the same time. The clinic will provide answers when there are questions and a path to care and treatment when it is needed. It will have self-referrals. We're also exploring adding an MSI billing code for menopause counseling to support family doctors as they in turn support women.
Houston says it should take about a year to get the center up and running, with startup costs of about $4 million and annual operating costs of about $2.4 million. NDP leader Claudia Chender was campaigning in downtown Dartmouth but did not have a formal announcement. Chender says her party will release information about its healthcare platform soon. Michael Gorman, CBC News, Halifax.
An international expert in tolls and a former Bridge Commission executive believe PC leader Tim Houston's promise to eliminate bridge tolls in Halifax will not ease traffic congestion. Jean Laroche explains.
The first thought that came to mind for me was just that this is going to make the problem worse.
Denny Sullivan reacting to this promise by PC leader Tim Houston.
$40 million tax cut for Nova Scotia drivers and a $40 million investment in reducing traffic time and giving more time back to you.
That's how much it will cost taxpayers to replace the toll revenue for Halifax's two bridges, the McDonald and the McKay. But getting rid of the toll will likely affect a number of people who are eager to take advantage of the free ride across the harbor. At least that's what Sullivan's recently published study shows. He looked at 76 toll projects in 16 countries, including the Port Mann Bridge in British Columbia. Sullivan's report noted that when BC lifted tolls, there was an almost immediate 27% increase in traffic. He expects a jump in Halifax.
I would expect traffic to be 10 to 20% higher than we currently have if you remove the tolls.
Asked by a reporter how he came to his conclusion that congestion would ease once tolls were gone, Houston had this response.
If you don't have to stop at a toll booth, it will save you time.
What research did you do before making the announcement?
I relied on a number of experts who assured me that if you have to stop and are not moving forward, it's taking you longer.
Sullivan is convinced commutes will take longer.
Trying to push more trips through those bridges, even without the barriers, I would expect congestion to get worse.
So it's going to take people longer?
Yes.
He's not the only one saying that.
Bridge Commission is running about 82% MAC pass right now. Given my years of viewing the toll plazas from my office, I don't think it's going to make a big difference.
The PC plan is to take tolls off the bridges next April 1st. Jean Laroche, CBC News, Halifax.
Quick break now to get you updated on the weather forecast. Ryan Snoddon with us.
And things are warming up, Ryan.
Yeah, we're warm front tracking, and that front is already sweeping through. It's been bringing a few showers to the province today. That'll continue tonight and shifting the winds to southerly as well. We'll gust 40 to 50 kilometers per hour overnight. The winds easing into tomorrow as they move to the southwest, but temperatures on the rise overnight. We're into the double digits by tomorrow morning, so no scraping of the windshields, that is for sure. A couple of isolated showers early on Thursday, then becoming a mix of sun and cloud to even mainly sunny into the afternoon. And so that will set the stage for near record-breaking temperatures. We've got a big bar that we have to jump over. Most of the records are near and into the 20s. And as you'll see here, it's going to be close to this, but likely just shy in many cases. Still one of the warmest Halloweens we have seen in a long time. 2022 was a warm one, 2019, 2009, but this will be right there with those years. High teens. And yes, a couple of showers early, but overall we're clearing. And so by the time we head out trick-or-treating tomorrow evening, you can see the sky's looking fair, the temperature's looking mild. It's all good news as the forecast looks much more treat than trick.
Definitely.
Big numbers on the board. Okay, thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. Well, there is growing frustration in Halifax with traffic standstills. This morning was a nightmare commute when 3 collisions happened at the same time, tying up traffic on both bridges as well as on Highway 102. Gareth Hampshire has that story.
It's taking a lot longer these days for many people to get to work in the morning and arrive home at the end of the day. For the past few months, people throughout Halifax have been finding it difficult to get around.
It seems like there's constantly, if it's not an accident, then it's just a complete slowdown. People don't know how to use the zipper merging. The roundabouts are horrible.
Like yesterday, I was about 1 hour late before I get to my working place in Halifax. I live here in Dartmouth, but I work in Halifax. Like, bridge was so much hold up in the bridge yesterday.
In some areas of the city, I'm sitting in the same spot for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and I can see where it just was in my rearview mirror.
Navigating the gridlocks was especially painful this morning with tie-ups throughout the city.
3 collisions happened at the exact same time, 2 on the bridges and 1 at the bottom of the 102 highway. When that happens, traffic slows down, it backs up, and the whole city just came to a grinding halt.
It's not often traffic reports on CBC's Information Morning suggest driving all the way around the Bedford Basin.
In traffic, you might want to avoid both the McKay and McDonald bridges in both directions right now. I know those words I just said shouldn't make any sense, but this is where we are.
Some took the advice and got off the road.
Just blocked up, so we decided to pull off and grab the coffee and wait it out.
The construction at the Cogswell interchange is another factor, as well as the return of school and public sector workers to the office, a decision Tim Houston says is in the best interests of service to Nova Scotians. Police are seeing a lot of impatient drivers trying to get around the traffic.
I understand people will take some shortcuts to try to avoid some of the congestion. Sometimes that works. Most times you just have to come back into the same line of traffic somewhere else, and that creates more frustration, more congestion, because we now have more vehicles trying to enter various points throughout those major routes.
It's expected things will get better when the Cogswell project is finished, allowing traffic to move in and out of that area, taking some of the pressure off other routes. Gareth Hampshire, CBC News, Halifax.
The honorary consul of Lebanon in this region recently returned from Lebanon, where Israel and Hezbollah have been trading fire. Wadi Faris says it's the worst destruction he has ever seen in the country, and he is pleading for the international community to act to end the attacks.
Where is the global leadership from all this? Where is their values, human rights, stability, democracy? Is it just words on papers? Does it mean anything anymore? There's no one out there. There's no one out there that we can see like a light at the end of the tunnel. Say, okay, well, this country or that country. It is not. It is not acceptable. Our people deserve better.
Israel has warned people in the east of Lebanon to evacuate their homes in advance of another offensive.
One Nova Scotia landlord with more than 70 properties is under fire for charging illegal security deposits. A Halifax legal aid group says this practice is growing, fueled by the housing crisis. Nicholas Sagan reports.
Some tenants are paying thousands of dollars just to secure an apartment. These fees aren't legal, but that isn't stopping at least one large landlord. In August, a tenant named Zhao Jun Su was accepted to rent here. The landlord, Olympus Properties, told her she had to send more than $3,000 to secure the apartment. She was desperate, so she did it. But after weeks of back and forth with no lease signed and no apartment, she started to panic.
I went into Olympus in person to ask for my money back, but they said no. Since they were keeping my money, I said, I cannot move in now. They said no. My son feel very sad, okay, and also my husband blamed me. Yeah, they said you threw the money away.
A Halifax legal aid organization says Olympus Properties is running a scheme to collect illegal deposits. But this issue is bigger than one landlord.
Landlords know that people are in a desperate situation, and frankly, a lot of bad actors are capitalizing off of that.
According to the province's Residential Tenancies Act, application fees are illegal. After a lease is signed, the most a landlord can charge as a deposit is 50% of 1 month's rent. The acceptance letter Olympus sent to Sue asked for a regular security deposit plus the last month's rent to be sent within 6 hours. Olympus Properties told CBC it doesn't charge application fees, and it only charges 50% of 1 month's rent for damage deposits, saying it follows all the processes set out in the Tenancy Act. But tenants have a list of other complaints, ranging from 30% rent increases to damage deposits being withheld when they move out.
It's just completely shady, like from start to finish. Like I've been renting my whole life, and I've never had to have my backup, and have my guard up.
Bloom says a residential tenancies enforcement system is needed to bring the hammer down on repeat offenders. Tenants and landlords have been calling for this for years, an idea the Houston government shot down in September. Nicola Sagan, CBC News, Halifax.
The housing crisis, of course, isn't just an issue in this province. Yesterday in the House of Commons, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre and Housing Minister Sean Fraser of Nova Scotia had a heated exchange about that very issue. It started with Poilievre asking about his own promise to remove the GST on new homes sold for less than $1 million. Here's some of that exchange.
Mr. Speaker, the very angry housing minister has been up all night trying to dream up some snarky comment in response to the very popular announcement Common Sense Conservatives made yesterday to axe the federal sales tax on homes under $1 million. Something that his own advisor, Dr. Mike Moffat, has said is the most bold announcement of any federal party for middle-class home ownership. He took my idea on GST for rental housing. Will he accept this common sense plan to axe the tax?
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, with all the time and energy he spends on me, I'm going to have to send him a check for the time I've been living rent-free in his head. But I got to tell you, yesterday, make no mistake, the Conservative leader announced he would make multi-billion-dollar cuts to programs that will get homes built in this country. Now, he knows that, and we can agree on that piece. What he doesn't know is his caucus colleagues have been going behind his back, writing me letters advocating for their communities to receive funding through the Housing Accelerator Fund because they believe it will get more homes built. My question for the Conservative members of his caucus, will they have the courage to stand up and tell him he's wrong?
Since he gave Toronto $500 million, that city hall has jacked up development taxes by 40%. No wonder construction is down 20%. That's probably why Dr. Mike Moffat, the minister's housing advisor, said that it's hard to deny that the Housing Accelerator Fund is turning out to be nothing more than a heist of tax dollars flowing from the feds to the municipality. Wow. So enough with the heists. Won't he cut the bureaucracy, axe the tax, and build the home?
Yay!
The Honourable Minister of Housing, Infrastructure and Communities.
Mr. Speaker, I sometimes ask myself where they found this guy. He twists the facts to suit his narrative whenever he wants. It's almost like the Conservative Party, when looking for a new leader, hopped on Temu, typed in far-right Conservative, and then spit this guy out instead. He opposes investments in affordable housing. He borrows lessons from his cousin south of the border when he opposes birth control for women. During the January 6th of Canada, the convoy, he wasn't just telling people to stand by, he was bringing them coffee in the streets. Sure. Mr. Speaker, it might be election season in America. We don't need this far right-wing populism here at home.
How can arrogance and incompetence so comfortably reside in one man?
Yeah!
The Honourable Minister of Housing, Infrastructure and Communities.
Mr. Speaker, the Conservative leader asks how arrogance and incompetence can live so comfortably in one man. He manages to show us every single day.
Well, after years of hard work, progress is being made with restoring the historic Khyber building in Halifax.
Now, rebranded as the Turret Art Space, the 130-year-old building has connections to the 2S LGBTQ+ and arts communities. Hazardous materials have been removed so people can safely walk through it. Now the Turret Art Space Society is seeking $1.2 million to proceed with construction and renovation. Project manager Alexis Cormier spoke about the planned addition of a new floor.
So the fourth floor will be new. And it's a pretty generously heighted space. I think we're aiming at 12 feet right now. It'll have an artist studio that's fully teched out, can be wet and wild floors, so you can get messy in there. And then it has an artist apartment and a balcony overlooking Barrington Street to kind of create a larger event space.
The Turret Arts Space Society has spent $1 million so far on the restoration efforts. That funding has come from all three levels of government.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118,
Ah, that's a classic view. The dingle in the northwest arm. Pretty
Little
nice.
gray, but always a nice view, isn't it?
Sure is. Okay, we've got Ryan up next with his forecast. We're back on the other side of the break.
It's getting dark and scary out, isn't it?
know,
You notice
it
the
is.
days
I know.
shorter all the time?
And daylight saving time is coming to an end.
It's this weekend.
I think, yeah, it's Sunday, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
That's creeping up on me.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I should know this.
Yeah, you're supposed to know.
Yeah, I've been so focused on Halloween.
Yeah, I know.
But it is a good, actually, segue to talk about Halloween, given if you look at this webcam video right now, again, it's getting pretty dark, pretty early.
Yeah.
So make sure tomorrow night when you're driving around at this time, you are super safe.
Yeah.
Keeping an eye on all those kiddos running from one side of the street to the other with sugar brains.
Yeah, that's a great
Maybe
reminder.
they have some reflective tape or something.
Yeah,
on it too.
yeah,
Couldn't
for
hurt.
sure. And a lot of kids, of course, like my own, dressing as ninjas, which
Oh, wow. Stealth.
Stealth, exactly.
Yeah.
Not so great for being visible. So make sure you do take time and care out there. That's Burnt Coat Head, by the way. And a lovely evening there at low tide. Couple of showers that have been kicking around. You can see we've got temperatures right now ranging between 3 and 6 in Cape Breton, 6 to 10 across the mainland. And what we're going to be seeing with that southerly wind, which is, you can see, moving in right now, sustained 15 to 20, 30 kilometers per hour in some spots. That southerly wind is going to bump those temperatures up, gusting to 30, even 40, 46 at last check at Westport. And you can see we've got, some of those showers that have been moving through with this warm front, extending all the way down towards Shelburne in the South Shore, Lunenburg, and even a couple of drops in through the Halifax area over the last little bit. Most of the precipitation, though, off to the north with this. And as we look at this area of high pressure moving off to the east, this low, again, is going to be allowed to move in, but this frontal boundary, which extends from northern Quebec all the way down to Mexico, this is going to be basically staying off just to our north and east, or north and west, I should say, as we move into the Friday night time period. That's when it's finally going to be moving off to the east and in through our region. Look at the temperature contrast. 7 in Denver, 28 in Oklahoma City, 10 in Minneapolis, 28 in St. Louis. It's 20 degrees in Toronto right now, and that's the air we are tapping into for tomorrow. So tonight, temperatures on the rise. Those showers with this warm front extending to the east and through Cape Breton by late evening, and that southwest flow will be still pretty gusty overnight tonight, gusting 30, 40, 50 kilometers per hour. Note tomorrow morning, this is where we're starting around 6 a.m. High single, low double digits across Cape Breton, and certainly low double digits, even a few low teens possible, certainly by 7 or 8 a.m. for most of the mainland. The clouds pretty stubborn early on tomorrow, maybe an isolated shower, and then we're gradually clearing. By lunchtime, starting to become a mix of sun and cloud, and then even some mainly sunny skies into the afternoon on Thursday. Let's talk about those temperatures. 15, 16 degrees for Cape Breton tomorrow, with the winds gusting to 30 into the afternoon, so they will ease. Pretty gusty start, but backing off, those winds will be. Antigonish, same story, some gusty winds early on in the eastern shore. Now into the afternoon, we're going to be seeing those winds gusting closer to 30 kilometers per hour for the central parts of the province, including Halifax. And again, you can see temperatures in those onshore winds. The water temps are only 12 now, so we have dropped quite a bit with those water temps. And so when the wind is blowing in onshore, it's going to be cooler. Downtown, though, should still get to 17, 18 to 20. Best chance for 20 will be from Windsor to Greenwood, back down towards the Kedgie area, and these are again going to be our greatest chances. One more look at this Halloween forecast, lots to be happy about. You can see the Dancing Mummy very thrilled at the prospect of 13 to 16 degree temperatures as the kids head out the door, and even as we move into the 9 o'clock time frame, those temperatures still widespread low teens. This is the front that we're going to be watching. Friday, still dry until Friday evening. Look at the temperatures on Friday, 17 to 20 degrees again. That front comes through, and that northerly wind, oh boy, we're going to feel that drop. 5, maybe as warm as 7 along the South Shore and Atlantic coast on Saturday. But yeah, the weekend, it's going to feel brisk for sure.
That's
definitely
going to be an adjustment,
Bit of a
that's
shock.
for sure. Okay, thanks so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Coming up, conflict in Lebanon. We speak with a local community leader about how the Halifax community is coping.
Welcome back. American officials are scheduled to visit Israel tomorrow to talk about possible ceasefires in Lebanon and Gaza and about the possible release of hostages being held by Hamas militants.
A proposal to end the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon reportedly calls for a 60-day ceasefire. Israeli forces would withdraw from Lebanon, and Hezbollah would end its armed presence along the border. Meanwhile, the fighting continues to rage. Sasha Petrusik has more.
Even as Israeli airstrikes continued way up the Bekaa Valley in Lebanon, aiming at a new target, the city of Baalbek, even as Hezbollah rockets continue to fire and rain on northern Israel, setting off air raid sirens here today, the Israeli government is considering a U.S. plan that would see a 60-day ceasefire, one that would maybe continue longer after that, if some certain details can be worked out. And as always, the details are complicated. The proposal is envisioning tightening up long-standing UN rules which would push back Hezbollah from the border between Lebanon and Israel. It would also mean many, many more Lebanese soldiers along that border to make sure that Hezbollah stays away. And it would give Israel the right to intervene in Lebanon whenever it felt there was a threat, again, from Hezbollah. Now, why is Israel considering this now? Partly because the government here is saying that Hezbollah has been more or less defeated. At least it's not the same dangerous terrorist organization, in their words, that it used to be. The cabinet ministers here, especially the defense minister, is saying that its leadership has been decimated, it is disorganized, and it says that Israel has destroyed about 80% of its rocket arsenal. That would still leave about 30,000 rockets, and obviously Hezbollah is capable of firing those, as we saw today. But Israel seems to be in a position where it feels it has the upper hand. The big question is whether Hezbollah would actually agree to something like this, and there's no indication. In fact, today the new head of Hezbollah, Naim Qassem, who took over from Hassan Nasrallah, who was killed by Israel just a few weeks ago, well, he said that the war will continue. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Jerusalem.
Watching all of the developments, of course, in the Middle East, it's a very large Lebanese community here in Nova Scotia. Wadi Faris is a developer in Halifax, also the honorary consul for Lebanon here in Atlantic Canada. Tell me, you're watching the headlines as the rest of us are, and you have had a front row seat as well, because you were there not that long ago. What was it like in Lebanon a few weeks ago when you were there?
Well, what can I say? It was very, very bad situation. Scary, frustrating. To see what's going on to your country and to the people. For the first time, I have to admit, I've been to Lebanon many times, and Lebanon has been going through a lot of conflicts over the years. This is the first time we were very anxious to leave. However, at the same time, we were very, very sad to leave our people, our loved ones in such a despair. What can I say? I mean, it's very painful. It's very painful.
I mean, you have family there. You were telling me you were visiting them. How are they, and how difficult was it for you to leave?
Yeah. Well, first of all, over the years with all the conflicts in Lebanon, I have to admire the Lebanese people, if I may say so, with their resilience. It's amazing how they adapt to things, and over the last few years, Lebanon has been going through a very hard time, from an economic meltdown to political challenges, to migration, unemployment, inflation. And it's amazing how the Lebanese adapt to all this and get going. It's like each village, each city, they form like self-sustained government, and there is no power, so they turn all to the solar power, and it's amazing. So look, they're doing okay. Obviously, the diaspora has been helping a lot, and that is going a long way for keeping the people, helping the people to stay, foot at least, stay in Lebanon, and survive all these challenges, these difficulties. But I'll tell you, this time is a bit different. The destruction and the bombing and the raids that over 100 raids a day, it was too much to really take, And when we were there, obviously you hear the warplanes over, in the air. I mean, Lebanon is a small country, and if a warplane is gonna go from one end to the other, you hear it, and you hear the bomb coming down, and we start wondering, how we're gonna get out. Yes, for the first time, I wanted to get out, and it was risky. It was risky in a way that the road to the airport, even though the airport stayed open, to get there, the last 10 minutes ride, it's a very, very tough to swallow.
I mean, and that was just a few weeks ago. How do you feel about the way the world is looking at what's unfolding there? Are you surprised by any of it at all?
Well, see, the thing is, they say it's a war between the Israel and Hezbollah. Okay, but this is Lebanon. They're hitting Lebanon. The people are dying. They're not all from the Hezbollah militant or anything like this. They're Lebanese. These are our people. The south of Lebanon, for example, we have over 1.5 million displaced inside Lebanon from the south, and these are Lebanese. We embraced them. We opened up the schools for them. We opened up our homes for them. But at the same time, it's becoming like a challenge, a heavy load on the economy, on the education system, on the health system, on everything. So it's not only between armies, and soldiers. It's not a war like this. They're destroying the country. They're destroying the country, and Lebanon going through all this economic hardship over we don't even we haven't had a president for 3 years. We have a caretaker government. It's really insane what's going on and how this country is surviving.
What do you want the world to do? What should is there anything people here can be doing to help?
Well, we're doing the best we can here to help them. If with the medical products or money or whatever we can, we are helping, and we've been doing that for a while, since the explosion of the port back almost 3 years ago. What I want from the world community is where is the world community from all this? Where is the global leadership from all this? Where is their values, human rights, stability, democracy? Is it just words on papers? Does it mean anything anymore? There's no one out there. There's no one out there that we can see like a light at the end of the tunnel. Say, okay, well, this country or that country, it is not. It is not acceptable. Our people deserve better. Our country deserves better. And what's going to happen? Honestly, I can't tell you.
Well, on that note, we'll leave things. Wadi Ferris, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Coming up, around 100 people are dead as the Spanish region of Valencia is hit by a year's worth of rain in 8 hours.
And how airlines are turning to technology to keep passengers from boarding before their assigned zone. Welcome back. Flash flooding has killed at least 95 people in Spain.
Several roads and towns have been submerged in the southeastern part of the country following torrential rain. Chris Brown has more on the devastation.
Southeastern Spain got drenched with a year's worth of rain in less than 8 hours, inundating rivers and streams that ripped through and ripped apart Spanish communities in and around Valencia. All day Wednesday, rescue crews raced to reach those who found themselves cut off by the floodwaters. Gas station worker Denis Havlati says he climbed up onto a store shelf where he spent the night as the water raged beneath him. I'm smiling so I don't cry, he said. It was a living hell. Jose Manuel Ryan said, I have friends who lost their house, lost their cars. They've lost everything. And the factory where I work is destroyed. Overwhelmed rescuers used whatever means available to save some in distress, but they could not reach all. The suddenness of the flash flood trapped dozens of people who perished. Social media posts captured incredible scenes of the water sweeping away cars and everything else. By daylight, the worst of the storm had passed through the Valencia region, but remains a threat to many other parts of the country.
Y por tanto hacemos un llamamiento.
We make a specific call to people to avoid traveling by road, said the Minister of Territorial Policy, imploring people to stay at home. The government has declared 3 days of mourning. As Spain's King Felipe offered condolences, he also warned of difficult times ahead. It's still complicated to access some areas, so we don't have a clear picture of the impact and the number of victims, he said. With the roads gone and communication still out in many inland areas, the fear is when rescuers do reach all of the affected communities, they'll find more bodies. Chris Brown, CBC News, London.
In the U.S., Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are crisscrossing several swing states today, each passing each other in Wisconsin, as they fight for support ahead of Tuesday's presidential election. But this morning, Harris was trying to distance herself from remarks President Joe Biden made last night about a racist joke made at a Trump rally Sunday night.
Just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for. And as President of the United States, I will be a president for all Americans, whether you vote for me or not.
Biden took to X to clarify, saying he was only trying to say the joke was unconscionable. Harris's running mate Tim Walz also tried to tamp down the backlash on morning TV, saying Biden was referencing distasteful rhetoric, not Trump supporters. But the controversy has overshadowed Harris's huge rally last night in Washington, where she delivered her closing arguments in front of a crowd of at least 60,000 people.
Among those undecided voters in the U.S. are many Mormons, most of whom usually identify as Republicans. But as Richard Madden reports from Utah, for this election, that may have changed.
Celebrating homecoming at Brigham Young University, founded and guided by the Mormons, known formerly as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. While Mormon voters typically lean conservative, this fast-growing denomination may be the last of the Christian right resistance in the era of Donald Trump, according to BYU sociologist Jacob Rue.
Mormon voters or LDS voters are the most likely to say they don't have a political home.
He says Mormons value character and compassion, and found roughly 12% of Mormons voted against Trump since 2016, and increasing ever since.
And absolutely, LDS voters care deeply about the Constitution. They believe the Constitution was inspired of God.
So the January 6th event really resonates with them.
Absolutely. I believe, and I've argued, and I've shown data that January 6th is a breaking point for LDS voters.
That includes high-profile Mormon and outgoing Utah Senator Mitt Romney, one of the few Republicans who voted to impeach Trump for inciting the insurrection.
Yeah, I've made it very clear that I don't want Donald Trump to be the next president of the United States.
Utah is considered the last ruby red state west of the Rockies, and its large number of Mormon voters have long been a reliable Republican voting bloc, not just here, but in neighboring swing states of Arizona and Nevada. And those tight battlegrounds are where the small but influential Mormon vote could swing the outcome. 400,000 Mormons in Arizona, 200,000 in Nevada. And that's why both campaigns are aggressively courting LDS voters to help them win. While the church strives to stay politically neutral to its 7 million members living in the U.S., for many, Trump's character is on the ballot.
You're Republican. Born and raised.
Except this election,
not a Republican.
I don't think that he does necessarily share all my values, but I feel like he's a stronger leader.
Both campaigns are watching the Mormon vote closely in a heated election that appears to be dividing the flock. Richard Madden, CBC News, Salt Lake City, Utah.
American Airlines is testing new technology that outs passengers who try to board before they're supposed to. But as Sophia Harris reports, not everyone thinks public shaming is the best way to solve the problem.
You've probably been there.
We invite customers in Zone 1 to board now.
Your flight starts boarding, and some passengers cut in line before their zone is called.
Like, there isn't enough carry-on baggage storage, so people do want to get on as early as possible to ensure that their bag isn't gate checked.
Have you ever tried to board before your zone is called to secure carry-on space?
For sure, yeah. A lot of the time it's really tight, and they definitely don't account for everyone to have like a carry-on.
To combat the queue jumping problem, American Airlines is testing new technology at the gate at several U.S. airports. This is how it works. When a passenger who cut the line tries to get their boarding pass scanned, the technology beeps, and the passenger is told to wait their turn.
I think it's fair, to be honest, but I mean, I wouldn't like to be called out. But I guess, like, there's zones for a reason, right?
But traveler Robert Stinson isn't on board.
I don't think public shaming is the way to go about it. It makes the people angry, and do we need more angry people at the airport? I don't really think so.
This industry expert says instead of nabbing line cutters, airlines should enforce their rules for carry-on baggage limits.
The airlines themselves are causing the problem. People are walking on with 2, 3, 4 pieces of hand baggage, and that just chews up all the space on the airplane.
Perhaps a crackdown is in the works. Air Canada passenger Stinson says he was surprised to learn he can't carry on this bag. So your carry-on is oversized?
Yeah, apparently. I was forced to check it today.
Air Canada didn't respond to requests for comment about lack of carry-on space. American Airlines says gate agents will politely ask outed queue jumpers to follow the rules and that its technology was designed to improve the boarding experience. Sophia Harris, CBC News, Toronto.
Canada's main stock index moved lower today, weighed down by losses in base metals, while U.S. markets also dipped. Here's a look at where things closed. It's a real relief, you know, to know that Halloween night is going to be a nice night weather-wise.
But the other thing, the last day of October.
Yeah.
Where did
Crept
that
up on
go?
us, didn't it?
September flew by, and then October.
Well, October didn't feel like October, I
That's
think, was the
probably
biggest
why,
thing, right?
yeah.
She thought she was still in September. That's
yeah. Well, maybe October will feel, or November will feel like October.
We could take
That'd be
that,
nice,
yeah.
Yeah, for sure, as we ease in. Listen, and we know falls have been getting warmer here, right? So a little surprise, I suppose. And we'll be near record-breaking temps again tomorrow, but likely not exceeding that 1989 year, which was the bar. Have a look at your photos and Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. That email address has been, the inbox has been filling up nicely. Back to Cape Breton tonight. Marble Mountain and beautiful shot here. Nice silhouette there. Thanks to LT McCann. Beautiful stuff. Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. As we said, keep them coming. 15 for highs in Cape Breton tomorrow. Across the mainland will be in the 16 to 20, maybe 21. Kentville, Greenwood, and Keji. Those are likely our best chances for 20 degrees tomorrow. And if we do hit 21 in Greenwood, that's our best shot at a record. That is the record, 21. So we'll be watching that closely. There are your 6 p.m. temperatures. I mean, this is the third time the Dancing Mummy's been on the show, but
he's boogieing.
There's never enough Dancing Mummy in my mind. And you can see as we'll run this forward to around 11 o'clock where those temperatures will reset. And we're still into the teens by that time. Friday, 16 to 20 again, clouding up, especially into the afternoon. But the front is going to hold off until Friday evening into the overnight. And then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, rebounding mid next week though.
Okay, there's that. All right, well, of course, Halloween is tomorrow, and if there's an idea you're looking for costume-wise, take a look at this breakaway costume.
What's up, Poppy?
Let's go!
Okay, spin around so we can see it. Spin back.
That is 7-year-old Grayson Joseph dressed up as Maple Leafs captain Austin Matthews. More specifically, a 3D version of his Upper Deck MVP hockey card. Grayson's dad, Grant, worked with a printing company in Trent, Ontario to create a detailed replica of the card.
And it went viral on social media, attracting the attention of the NHL and Matthews himself, who reposted the video on his Instagram account, a payoff that's worthy of a spooky selling.
I would think so.
Great.
That's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.